Hello everyone, and welcome to the Plant Biodiversity series. In this video, we'll be working through a question from the Northwest June 2024 Provincial exam. This question will assess your knowledge of Bryophytes, Pteridophytes, Gymnosperms, and Angiosperms. So let's jump into it. Question 1.4 says that the diagram below illustrates the cladistic relationship among the major groups of land plants. Using the cladogram below, answer the following questions. So on the cladogram, we can see the evolution of different features. At the bottom, we first see the evolution of a cuticle, then we see the evolution of a thallus, then a multicellular embryo, a dominant sporophyte, vascular tissue, seeds, and then fruit. At the top of the cladogram, we see the scientific names of the divisions, and then we see the common names. So under bryophytes, we see liverworts, mosses, and hornworts. And under pteridophytes, we see club mosses and ferns. Under spermatophytes, we see gymnosperms, also known as conifers, and angiosperms, also known as flowering plants. So I'd like you to pause the video and then answer the questions. Thereafter, we will go through the answers. Question 1.4.1 says, identify the common ancestor of A, gymnosperms and angiosperms. That would be ferns. So ferns are the common ancestor of gymnosperms and angiosperms. Question B says, identify the common ancestor of ferns and flowering plants. That would be D, the club mosses. Question 1.4.2 says, based on the cladogram above, what difference can you infer between mosses and ferns? So the biggest difference is that ferns, known as pteridophytes, have vascular tissue, such as xylem and phloem. They also have true leaves. However, the mosses do not have vascular tissue. They don't have true leaves, they don't have true roots, and they don't have true stems. Question 1.4.3 says, identify a clade that could represent the plants adapted to tropical rainforests. So when the question says clade, it just means branch. So which branch on this family tree basically represents plants adapted to tropical rainforests? So those would be the mosses. Remember, mosses grow very close to the ground. They are highly dependent on water, so they need rainy weather or very moisture-rich areas in order to thrive because they need water for fertilization. Question 1.4.4 says, name one characteristic that supports your answer to the above question. So that would be an adaptation for high humidity or consistent rainfall. If there is not enough water, bryophytes cannot survive because they will not be able to reproduce. The reason why they need water to reproduce is because the sperm needs to swim to the egg, and the medium in which it swims to the egg is water. Question 1.4.5, explain why seedless vascular plants can grow taller than non-vascular plants. So this was a question that we saw in the previous exam paper. So for this question, you have to refer to vascular tissue and say which vascular tissue these plants have. So the answer is by providing a more efficient way to transport water and nutrients. So you can say the presence of xylem allows for the efficient transport of water. The presence of phloem allows for the efficient transport of nutrients throughout the plant body. And they can compete more effectively for resources in dry environments. So for this question, I actually want you to focus on the first sentence. Refer to the types of vascular tissue, say what each vascular tissue is responsible for, and how the presence of that vascular tissue means that the plant can therefore grow taller and have access to more resources. So I want you to go through your questions, count how many questions you got right, and give yourself a mark out of 7. And then we can move on to the next video.